major news out of Russia as its nuke forces are scrambling for massive war drills, and a massive missile has been test fired, a missile with the range to hit the United States of America and wipe out and obliterate targets across the world. This comes as there are major tensions with the United States of America and Russia, and the proposed peace summit between President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin has been called off. It will not happen. The Russians are now putting on a show of force in an attempt to remind the world of their nuclear capabilities. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you the video. I'm going to break down exactly what is happening. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. How do you want to see Russia handled? How do you want to see this unfold? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. If you have any tips or stories you want me to look into, feel free to reach out. Some of you guys have been incredible sending me information. So thank you very much. Now let's get into it. I don't want to say on the brink, but we are very close to the situation in Europe and the situation between the United States and Russia getting incredibly nasty and getting incredibly dirty, as multiple different things have happened over the course of the past several weeks. Everyone wanted a peace plan. We thought maybe peace would be possible. We thought maybe a deal could be reached. That didn't happen. President Trump then floated, well, I want to try to meet with Putin again after meeting with Zelensky. Let's try to hammer this out. That then fell apart. Then 8 Russian spies were captured in NATO territory in Poland, planning a massive bombing plot that would have shocked the civilian population. It was meant to sabotage NATO countries. They have been captured. They are now in Polish custody and will certainly be interrogated. And if those Russian spies know what is good for them, they will hand over as much information as they can and reach some kind of deal to probably live in the West under witness protection. Well, Russia is now attempting to flex its muscles. I'm going to put this on the screen for you all. So this comes from the Associated Press. It says Putin directs drills of Russian nuclear forces as his summit with Trump is put on hold. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday directed drills of the country's strategic nuclear forces that featured similar missile launches, an exercise that came as his planned summit on Ukraine with President Donald Trump was put on hold. The Kremlin said that as part of the maneuvers involving all parts of Moscow's nuclear triad, a Yars intercontinental ballistic missile was test fired from the Plasetic launch facility in northwestern Russia, and a Siniva ICBM was launched by a submarine in the Barents Sea. The drills also involved Tu-95 strategic bombers firing long-range cruise missiles. The exercise tested the skills of the command structures, the Kremlin said in a statement. The chief of the military's general staff, General Valery Gerasimov, reported to Putin via a video link that the drills were intended to practice procedures for authorizing the use of nuclear weapons. Putin, sitting alone at a round white table, faced big screens showing Gerasimov and Defense Minister Andrei Bulazov. I mean, I got to say again, Russian names are kind of cool. I'm not endorsing them, but Russian names are kind of cool. All 3 men would be involved in launching nuclear weapons in the case of a conflict. So right now, the Russians are going through a massive war exercise, simulating a war where nukes were actually going to be fired, simulating a war where they were going to, they go to launch authority, they go to fire their nukes, they want to make sure their nukes work, but this is really being done to scare the West. This is being done in order to terrify the United States of America, intimidate the United States of America, and, try to put the screws to the U.S. And that includes the firing of this massive missile here, which I'm going to put on the screen for you all. Let's make sure it's working. This right here is the Yars missile with a range of 11,000 kilometers. It is a thermonuclear weapon. I'm going to show you some more details here shortly, but let's watch the missile. So you can see right here, the launcher is going up. being initiated and pistol in the air. This is one of the most powerful nuclear weapons the United States of the earth.
First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Quadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while lunches truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the title of today's lesson is Prophecy and War News. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this helped you today and guides you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick precept here, Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. Also, we're going to talk more about the opening video in a moment. It says here, Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1, it said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? So right now, we're seeing that the heathens are raging right now. We're seeing that World War III is very close. We're seeing that tension is rising left and right. So we're seeing that Russia is flexing their muscles right now. Also, we know that the war drums are beating all across the world. Also, at any given time, we know that America can go into Venezuela. So now we're seeing that now the reports are saying that that Russia that there was Russian spies that went into Poland territory, which in fact is NATO territory, and they was caught. So, we don't know what will come of this. We don't know whether they're going to retaliate or whatever, but we know that the Lord is putting the hooks in Russia's jaw. And also we know that Russia will be a guard to these nations. So we're seeing these things are lining up left and right. The heathens are raging right now. They're imagining a vain thing to be the next superpower. And also we're seeing that these prophecies are lining up left and right, you know what I'm saying? So we're seeing now that we are now at the beginning stages of World War III, and also we seeing in that video whereby, he said that that Russia was testing their, I think it was the SAR missile, or if I'm not mistaken, so this, things can go nuclear at any given time. We know that we're very close to the MOTB being implemented, very soon. So we're seeing that now that, these nations right now are constantly rising up against other nations, just like the Bible says. So we're here, man. It's at the door. So we know that our salvation is very close at hand. A lot of things are happening. Also, that three-eyed Atlas, they're constantly talking about that, and also it was the newest image was showing a man with an afro, sitting, said he was sitting down, so which in fact we, sitting on a throne, so we thinking that, that the Lord is so very close, whether they're trying to engineer a alien invasion, but we already know that alien invasion was coming, which in fact they're not aliens. It's the Lord and the angels are getting ready to return to set everything back in order. So we are so very close. Also, I was talking about that peace deal that that Putin and Trump supposed to have been meeting, but it's off the table right now. So we're seeing now that they're constantly preparing for war, and also said that Israel is getting ready to attack Iran. So, when they say peace and safety, then total destruction would come upon you. So there would be no peace. So the Lord is constantly gathering the nation and the men of the Lord. We constantly been warning. So the heathens are raging. They imagine a vain thing, something that is not profitable, something that is pretty much it's useless, because they're not going to stop prophecy. And one thing about it, we already knowing that the Lord is getting ready to throw down all these governments, these nations, and set up the kingdom of heaven that dwells in right. And also the men of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about all these impending dangers. So we're seeing right now that they are constantly preparing for war. We're seeing right now that it's imminent. Any given day, we're seeing these things are coming upon us. Also, we know about Jacob's trouble, the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. So many things are happening. That's why the Lord said this right here in Ezekiel, he set up watchmen to warn you warn you of all these impending dangers. Let's go here to Ezekiel chapter 3. Let's scroll right straight to the point and verse. Let's go to verse 17. Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. Let's get this one right quick, and then we'll get probably one more precept, and we're gonna watch one more video. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. It says here, Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17 says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Said, therefore, hear the words at my mouth and give them warning from me. So out about the Lord had set up what watchman, the Lord had set up his what mouthpiece to warn you, when these things come upon you, warning you of a war. And who is the Lord mouthpiece, which in fact are the prophets, the servants of the Lord are the prophets. One thing about the Lord only reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets, and one thing about it, that's what we constantly warning you left and right about all these pending days. We warning you about war. We warning you about pestilence. We warning you about famine. Also we warning you about Jacob's trouble, and also that main warning. We're warning you about what? The MOTB. That RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. That's why the Lord said, warn them of what? Immediately. So let's read this in the NLT, Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17 says, Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel. So whenever you receive a message from me, warn people immediately. So one thing about it, these are not our words. These are the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, the one that sent us. And out about it, the Lord is constantly, visiting the earth that he created. Also, you got to seek the Lord while he can be found. How can you seek the Lord? Through his mouthpiece, which in fact are the prophets, the men that are doing these video pistols, the ones that's in the highways and byways, and also, the ones that's constantly being diligent each and every day, constantly sounding the alarm, telling you that, that we're here. It's at the door. So now let's go here. Let's go to Revelation chapter. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 13. Then we get some more. We get one more video. Then we'll get a few more precepts. Let's go here. Something out of here I want to get here. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 13. Start up at verse 1. Because we're seeing this is lining up just like clockwork. The Lord is putting the chess pieces together. And also we knowing that the Lord is getting ready to judge these nations, for the controversy of Zion. A lot of things are happening right before our eyes. Our salvation is at the door. It says here, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1 says, and I stood upon the sands of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. So right here, it's talking about these seven heads and these 10 horns. It's talking about the EU and NATO. And that about, it says he saw a beast, it's talking about he saw Edom, it says rise up out of the sea, So that sea goes into people, nations, and tongues, So one thing about, we know that America is the melting pot, so many different diverse nations are here. And it says here, the crowns, it says the horns, 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy, So he would, he's speaking, great words, he constantly, he's all these lies and deceits, deceptions, also he's working all this what you call this left-handed energy, this sorcery, And one thing about it, we knowing right now that, we seeing a lot of that is at work right now, so it's, he constantly working it, the mystery of iniquity do us all will work, but he will let until he be taken out the way. So we seeing that we're here. So let's go to verse 2, and it says, I'm a little bit on the weather too. Also, it says verse 2 says, and the beast which I saw was like a leopard. So it's talking about Alexander the Great, so we know this was the start of the Greco-Roman Empire right here. It said, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. And by that bear, it's talking about Russia, so you already knowing that, a kingdom has a beginning and an ending. So we already know that that end is going to come through Russia. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to use Russia to take out this whore, which in fact is America, Babylon the Great, the revised Roman Empire. And it says here, and his mouth as a mouth of a lion. So this talking about the mouth of a lion. It's talking about Great Britain. You know what I'm saying? It said, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And about this dragon is talking about the ancient Roman Empire, so right now it gave him power and authority, so we're in the revised Roman Empire, so we're here, it's at the door. So right now this man is getting ready to use that sword in a big way. It's military, it's technology. These things right here, right upon us. We're seeing right now that things is constantly tension is constantly rising left and right. So basically, we're seeing right now, this is where we at right now. We're seeing NATO, and we're seeing the EU, and also we're seeing Russia. All the major players are here. Ezekiel chapter 38. All these things are lining up just like clockwork. In the mental law, we're constantly warning you left and right. So we're here. So it said, let's get verse 3 and we'll get another video. It says here, it said, I saw one of his heads, so as it were wounded, said to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So when that deadly wound was healed, one of his head was wounded. It's talking about the ancient Roman Empire, talking about, I think the Western Roman Empire had went down, but it said but it was healed. It's talking about the Renaissance when Esau, Edom came back into power. So it's talking about the revised Roman Empire. Now it's saying here, it said all the world wondered after the beast. So right now, so this man right here, he's coming with all these lying wonders, and all this deceptions and lie, this counterfeit pseudo sign, pseudo salvation, those type of things that he's getting ready to come with, So he's working great miracles, different things like that, all using that, once again, that sorcery, that left hand energy, these what I'm trying to say, when you go to Isaiah chapter 47, the enchantments, all type of things that this man is working. A lot of people will be deceived, but so that's just enough. We're gonna get out of this. So we're seeing right now that that we are in the second leg of the Roman Empire, the revised Roman Empire. We're in the feet and toes, so we are very close. We're seeing that we're here, So let's go here now, get another video, and after that video, we'll get a few more precepts, and we'll close out. And also, we know he's getting ready. No, let's go to Revelation chapter 6. Let's get that right quick. Then we're gonna get the video. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. So this man is right now is getting ready to use that sword in a big way, which in fact is his blessing. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4, straight to the point. He said, and there went out another horse that was red, Esau Edom, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So that great sword goes into his military, goes into his technology, goes into that pseudo science. It goes into all sorts of things that he's getting ready to use at his disposal. So right now we're seeing in that last video, we're seeing how Russia is testing their missiles, getting ready, getting prepared. And they said that they shot it pretty close to America, so these things, man, is coming full circle. So, what I'm saying? That is his blessing when you go to Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40, what I'm saying? He gonna live, the Lord gave him the sword. That is his blessing, what I'm saying? So by that sword, hey, he's getting ready to use it in a big way. And also we seeing right now all the major players are coming on the scene. We see that Ezekiel chapter 38 war. So we know at some point that that NATO and in the EU is going to turn against America, and one thing about when you go to Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15, they get ready to burn the whole. We'll probably get that too. So we seeing right now these things are constantly lining up, and also we seeing that they're making new alliances together against the West and Israel. So we know that Israel, the least of the flock, should draw them out. Also, we see it right now, they just made a peace deal between Hamas and Israel, but they saying that, it's slowly, it's coming apart. We already know that there will be no peace. When they say peace and safety, then total destruction will come upon them. So we see it right now, this man is getting ready to use that sword in a big way. And also when you go to Psalm chapter 17 and 13, we want the Lord to disappoint him, cast him down, which is thy soul. We're talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That is the sword of the Lord. The Lord's only going to use him for a short season. Then he will be taken out of the way. So now let's start today's video. Let's start another video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
You can't compare that situation right now. Well, actually, right now you can, but not that situation. When the United States bombed Iran, they didn't sign the Comprehensive Cooperation Treaty with Iran that was supposed to help Russia come to Iran's aid, build nuclear facilities, help them with all their programs and all of that. They didn't sign that until October, which was this month. They bombed Iran back in June. So Russia didn't feel obligated to protect Iran at that time. They just ratified that treaty with Iran, just like they just ratified the treaty with Venezuela. If this would have happened before, it would have been unsure. Russia would have gave Venezuela military equipment and other things, but they wouldn't have tried to protect their country against the United States. Now that they ratified everything, now it's in law. So that makes Cuba, that makes Venezuela, that makes Iran, and there's some others on that list, like North Korea, that just fired a ballistic missile, and Nicaragua down there. They had a treaty with Russia this year. They've been moving in our backyard. And I don't know if y'all heard the news today, but Putin shot a nuclear-capable missile towards the United States today. As a nuclear test, he overseen the missile launch, and this is coming as talks are stalling between him and Trump. And no, I'm not lying. Moscow tests nuclear missiles after plans for Trump and Putin summit collapse. We also announced that we destroyed another ship, so I think this is the 9th ship off the coast of Venezuela. I think last time it was off the coast of Colombia. The EU is talking about training Ukrainian troops inside of their country. And this obviously won't be after a ceasefire because there's no ceasefire in sight. And we're starting to be warned that we can start seeing Russian missiles being used against U.S. ships down by Venezuela. Russia has deployed all types of weaponry to Venezuela to be able to defend themselves. Iran is already talking about sending drones and shit. Russia's already talking about sending their own equipment, even the Resnik intermediate ballistic missile. So, or intermediate range missile, my bad. So, it's the time to wake up, man. That's all I'm going to say.
So we see it right now, that we are at the beginning stage. Really pretty much World War III has begun. So we see now that America's getting ready to go down into Venezuela, try to take this man Maduro out of rulership. But we know what this is all about. And also we seeing that Russia is getting ready to send aid and military equipment to Venezuela. So we seeing that the Caribbeans is getting ready to heat up. So these things are happening. So, and also it's already rumors that, let's go here first. Let's go here to Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse, we'll start up at verse 5. But anyway, we know that at some point that China is getting ready to go into Taiwan, trying to invade Taiwan. Also, we see it right now that Russia is flexing their muscles against NATO. You already know about these spies that they was captured in Poland territory, which in fact is NATO territory. So we're going to see what come of that, So I think we at I don't know what DEFCON level. I don't know if it's round 3 or 2 now, but we're very close, that they are getting ready to go to war. So now let's start here at Habakkuk chapter 2. We'll start at verse 5. We go straight to the point. So we see it right now. This man is not a keeper at home. This man is constantly, going in other people, trying to go into other people's countries and trying to take over, the hammer of the whole earth. But he's in for a rude awakening. It was Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5 said, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, talking about his philosophy. Say he is a proud man. Esau, even the so-called white man, said, neither keeper at home. So we seen this man down here in Venezuela, you know what I'm saying, down there where he don't belong, you know, and it's so very close right here in our own backyard. This man constantly starting trouble all over the world. So now we see that Venezuela is getting ready to get aid from Russia and China. The major players are on the scene. We see it right now that America is getting ready to be backed in a corner very soon. They're spreading themselves very thin, just like the Bible said. You know what I'm saying? This man is getting ready to be totally decimated. Let's go here again. Let's see. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5 say, yea, also because he transgresses by wine his philosophy, his policy. Say he is a proud man, neither keeper at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gather to him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. You know, this is, going into his new world order, But right here is go back up at the top right here. This man is Lord himself. His desire is hell and death. So everywhere this man go, death and hell follow him. This man rob, steal, and kill everywhere he go. So we already know that Venezuela had the number one largest oil reserves in the world. So we already know this all about it. Already have a puppet already in place. There's some Jewish lady, after they take Monero down, but I don't think it's going to work out that way. I think all hell is getting ready to break loose. And also we already know that Revelation chapter 17 is speaking loud and clear. They shall burn the whole. So we already know it, that America is getting ready to be totally destroyed. And also we know that Israel is going to be destroyed, but it will be rebuilt back up. Verse 6, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that is laden himself with thick clay. So that thick clay goes into what? Tremendous debt. So we know that America is I know it's about 42, maybe a little bit more than that. That he's in tremendous debt. So, he's not going to pay his debt. He's going to war. We already know that, the war machine is working right now. He's getting ready to resort to that sword because he's getting ready to lose his damn mind. This man, he's always taking something that does not belong to him, but he's in for a rude awakening, because thou hast dealt treacherously. These nations are getting ready to deal treacherously with him. So now let's go here to verse 7. It said, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee and await, said that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. So that is about, you're going to be a spoil to these other nations very soon, So we're seeing that all these different alliances are coming together against the West and Israel. We're seeing how the picture is lining up. One thing about it, man, this man right here, he's thinking that, he's gonna rule forever. His inward thought that he would rule forever, but he's in for a rude awakening. The Lord is going to take this man out of rulership, using Russia and his allies. Salaki, Russia and his allies. You put it like that. So so we know that Russia's coming with going to be a guard to these other nations. Ezekiel chapter 38, Salakia. It says, verse 8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Say, because of men blood and for the violence of the land, say, of the city and all that dwell therein. So one thing about what was done to us, it's going to be done to him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, he's getting ready to say, thou hast not hated blood. When you go to Ezekiel chapter 35, blood shall pursue thee. So that's the point where we at right now. Let's read this in the NLT, verse 8. It said, because you have plundered many nations, said now all the survivors will plunder you. Say you committed murder throughout the countryside and fill the towns with violence. So exactly, that is what the so-called white man MO. He's been robbing and stealing, killing, shedding blood all across the world. The bloody and deceitful man. But now, the tables are turning. These nations getting ready to rise up. Against the West and Israel. The big bully. So we seeing right now that that America is on its last leg, and also we seeing that it is slowly circling the drain. So we here, man. So a lot of things are constantly happening left and right. It is here. It is at the door. So now let's go here to Revelations. So we seeing that NATO at some point is going to burn the whore. Let's go here to Revelations chapter 17 and verse 15. Let's go here. Sun and the weather, and we in Babylon the Great. We got to deal with all this for now. How long, oh Lord? We ready for those new bodies? Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. It said, and he said unto me, said, the waters which thou sawest where the whore cities are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Verse 16 said, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So right here, it's talking about those 10 horns, talking about the EU and NATO. So we know at some point they shall burn the whore with that fire, with that with that thermonuclear fire. So we go back up at its top. It says here, that whore that sits on many waters, talking about what? Babylon the Great, and out about it, it says here, once again, let's read it, 15 again. It said, and he said unto me, said, the waters which thou sawest were the whore cities are peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. And that by the waters goes into these, the peoples, nations, and tongues. You know what I'm saying? A great multitude of what? That melting pot. America is a melting pot. That's, that whore is talking about America, Babylon the Great. Just trying to break it down a little bit where you get a little bit understanding, hoping I'm not confusing anyone. So right here it said the 10 horns which thou sawest, which in fact is NATO and the EU, it said upon the beast, that these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So we are very close to that. That America is getting ready to be dealt very treacherously with. So we seeing right now that Russia is constantly flexing their muscle. We seeing that right now that any given day, they're constantly preparing for war. So this is going to be the last and final war right before the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. So we seeing that the Lord is constantly putting the chess pieces in place. When they say peace and safety, when you go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3, when they say peace and safety, then total destruction will come upon them. So that's where we at right now. These things are lining up just like clockwork. We constantly seeing things left and right. A lot of things have earthquakes in diverse places. A lot of things are constantly have prophecies and speaking loud and clear right now. So more than ever, we are so very close. These things getting ready to spiral out of control. And also, right here in our own backyard right here, that, DJ Donald Trump is constantly mobilizing military troops throughout America. So they're setting the stage for what? Martial law, though. And also, any given time, there's rumors that he could implement this Insurrection Act. So we already know that, Jacob Trump is out the door, World War III, the MOTB, these things are here. That's why we got to seek the Lord. Our salvation is very close at hand. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go here to Romans. Let's go here to Romans chapter 13. Let's go to Romans chapter 13. It's in the New Testament. So like it's just under the weather. Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. Let's go here because our salvation is so very close. We're seeing these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. Let's go here and we'll close out here. It says, Romans chapter 13 and verse 11 says, and that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So right now, we're very close. The Lord is coming to deliver us. And we see that these prophecies are lining up just like clockwork. Also, we know that the Lord is going to lift up that standard when this man bring forth that wrath. We know that the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We know right now that the Lord is very close to returning and setting that righteous order back upon the earth, which in fact is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. So right now, hey, it's more close. It's high time to wake out of sleep, get out of that slumber state, which in fact, if you're still sleeping, I mean, you're a part of the 2/3 club and you will be destroyed. So that's where we at right now. Our salvation is here. Our great deliverance is here. Rejoice, ye heavens. Verse 12, it said, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. And that's what we got to do. This wisdom, this gospel, this understanding, wisdom and knowledge should be what the stability of the time. And by the night is far spent, hey, this day is at hand. What the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness, and also what the second coming of our Lord and Savior and our great deliverer, Yahushua HaMashiach. He's getting ready to return. We constantly warn you. We constantly been keeping an eye on that 3-eyed atlas too, we knowing that the Lord is very close. The Lord said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. Verse 13 said, let us walk honestly in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in clamoring and wantonness, so not in strife and envy. Verse 14 said, but put ye on the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. So one thing about it, it's time to get your house in order. Let go of the martyr thoughts. Get your mind right. Get up your loins. And one thing about it, examine yourself. And one thing about it, we got to pray without ceasing. Watch. Be circumspect, redeem the time wisely, because we are in these times. We're living in the last days. We're seeing these prophecies are constantly popping left and right. We're seeing that the Lord is constantly accelerating time. We're here. It is at the door. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is prophecies and news, prophecies and war news. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. So I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.